Marty Stewart has left an indelible mark on the music industry and the lives of his listeners and followers over his lengthy career. His wife, Connie Smith, has gotten a bad diagnosis, and he's dealing with it behind the scenes. Marty is taking a back seat to be there for her. Learn about Marty's life, his romance with Connie, and how this news impacts them in this film. On September 30th, 1958, Marty came into this world in Philadelphia, Mississippi. And it was in the multi-ethnic American South that he first encountered music. A lifelong admirer of bluegrass and country music, he came from humble beginnings in a modest farmhouse in rural America. John Stewart's SR was a gifted guitarist, and his son drew inspiration from listening to Hank Williams and Lester Flatt. He grew up listening to and enjoying music, and he devoted a lot of time to playing the first very expensive guitar that his dad had given him. During Marty's adolescence in particular, his talent shone through. He honed his vocal and mandolin abilities by performing at local events and honky-tonks. Marty impressed Lester Flatt, who saw in him a soulmate who shared his passion for classic country music. Joining Flatt's band, the Nashville Grass, when he was 13 years old was a life-altering event for Marty. His mastery of the instrument and respect for country music's heritage were both bolstered by his apprenticeship to a legendary figure in the field. Marty Stewart may have risen to popularity at an early age, but he was defined by his dogged pursuit of his artistic dream. As early as the 1980s rolled around, he was already a multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, and performer. His unique blend of country music with rockabilly and honky-tonk influences let him stand out during the era when infectious pop melodies were blending the mixture into country songs. In Marty's private life, there were triumphs and tragedies. If love had been his driving force, he never would have imagined he could make a life-altering decision. This is the scene where Marty's altruism is shown in the film. To be there for his wife while she was sick was so important to him that he abandoned his singing career. The significance of her diagnosis is conveyed in this moving video. His decision, which sent a dreadful message to his followers, and his eventual triumph over the terrible illness. Take a look at how this turns into a personal tragedy for the characters, and how true friends show their love when you're sad. He became great friends with and looked up to Marty, a wandering man with connections to numerous performers. This changed Marty's role in country music events and led him to a solo singing career, which was boosted by Cash's magnetism and storytelling ability. Despite remaining true to his country music roots, Marty had increased popularity from the 1980s through the 1990s. Albums such as Tempted and Hillbilly Rock were well received by critics and solidified his position as the genre's leading figure. Marty is well versed in photography and historical context in addition to music. By looking at country music through this prism, listeners will appreciate its rich history and fall in love with its enduring melodies and meaningful lyrics. Naturally, Marty's upbringing foretold over 50 years of inventiveness, fervor, and sincere reverence for the foundations of country music. His incredible journey from a humble Mississippi village to the biggest stages in Nashville and around the globe is a true reflection of the power of music to transform lives. With Lester Flatt, Marty Stewart became one of the most famous and iconic country music duos of all time. Collectively, their collaboration influenced the development of country music and had an enduring effect on subsequent generations of artists and listeners. The early 1970s saw the formation of Marty Stewart and Lester Flatt's partnership. When Stewart suddenly became an expert guitarist and mandolin player, bluegrass legend Lester Flatt was astonished. Stewart joined Flatt's band, the Nashville Grass, at the tender age of 13 and began performing and working with Flatt shortly after. Marty owes a great deal to Flatt for his guidance and instruction throughout the style's growth, as well as for his education in the bluegrass and country music histories. Stewart had been a member of Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Boys before he and Joe became famous as a pair. He was able to recognize Stewart's growth as a singer and musician. This younger, more energetic version of talent and energy breathed fresh life into the Nashville Grass as the lead singer for the band. A lot happened in the early 1970s that changed and amplified Stewart's and Flatt's youth and early careers. The Nashville Grass, where Stewart played for many years with other bands, taught him a lot about stage presence. Little Big Town's members were able to broaden their musical horizons by learning classic bluegrass from Flat and incorporating Nashville's developing country sound. Marty Stewart and Lester Flatt were musically very close, with a mutual admiration for classic country music and a mutual appreciation for each other's performances. Fans were treated to multiple CDs that showcased Flatt's melancholy voice accompanied by Stewart's skilled musicianship. Take Me Back to Tulsa and I'll Stay Around are great examples of how they incorporated bluegrass picking with silvery lines, banjo rhythms, fiddles, and of course Stewart, the little guitarist, into catchy songs. Marty Stewart and Lester Flatt's second successful partnership served as an inspiration to countless musicians for a long time. They worked together to bring bluegrass and modern country music closer together, giving other artists the freedom to experiment with and expand the boundaries of the genre. A defining feature of Stewart's solo work is his devotion to musical narrative, which he attributes to his time at Flat. Their bond went beyond the confines of the concert hall and recording studio. Marty considers Flat a mentor who gave him advice beyond music, and he regularly thinks about the priceless lessons he learned from Flat. Stewart owes a great deal to Flat, who exemplified the work ethic, real humility, and dedication to preserve the integrity of country music. In reality, Marty chose to strike out on his own after Flat passed away in 1979, and his solo work solidified his position as country music's most original and inventive figure. Afterwards, as shown in Flat's analysis, Stewart consistently paid homage to the genre's origins while experimenting with artistry. He was well received by both critics and listeners for his solo albums, which fused classic elements with contemporary flavors, such as hillbilly rock and Tempted. The story of Marty Stewart and Lester Flatt is another evidence that the country music genre may be shaped by the fruitful partnership of mentor and student. Their tunes span the genre's history of country music, just as Stewart's pop singing career demonstrated his aptitude from a young age. Marty Stewart's songs and dedication to preserving country music's rich history pay tribute to Lester Flatt's memory. Is the cooperation between Marty Stewart and Lester a positive or negative influence on country music? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment. In recognition of his accomplishments, Stewart was invited to join Johnny Cash's backup band and released his second album, Busy Bee Cafe, in 1982. Players like Doc Watson, Johnny Cash, and Earl Scruggs were instrumental in creating this bluegrass masterpiece. Many people thought the recording was great. During this time, Stewart was married to Cindy Cash's daughter, and the two talented musicians were working together. Still, he managed to convince his father-in-law to let him start his own business in 1985. In 1986, he broke into the rockabilly scene with the album Marty Stewart, which was followed by his first #1 single, Arlene. Flashy Western clothes and teased hair were also part of his theatrical persona that he worked hard to cultivate. He made adjustments in his private life by ending his marriage to Cindy in 1988. Stewart had a top 10 country music single with the title track from 1989's Hillbilly Rock. When Stewart teamed up with Travis Tritt for 1992's The Whiskey Ain't Workin', the pair won the Grammy for Best Country Vocal Collaboration, marking Stewart's first taste of Grammy triumph. After collaborating with country music greats like Chet Atkins and Vince Gill on the tune Red Wings, Stewart took home yet another Grammy the following year for Best Country Instrumental Performance. Was a financial flop, Stewart continued to enjoy success as a country music artist. That same year, he hosted the inaugural Marty Party television special. Elkhart, Indiana is the site of Connie Smith's birth on August 14, 1941. She also ranks high among the country music industry's seminal figures from the 60s. Among the 14 kids, Connie was one. She was born into extreme poverty, and her family eventually made it back to West Virginia. Afterwards to Dungannon, Ohio, while Shannon was a little baby. She grew up listening to Ernest Tubb and Eddie Arnold, two country music artists whose tastes were dictated by her parents. She graduated as salutatorian of her elementary school class in 1959. Actually, the difference between her and the valedictorian was as small as 1/10 of a point. She also started performing in community shows, which helped her gain confidence. It was after she won a talent competition at Frontier Ranch Country Music Park that she received an invitation to Nashville from singer-songwriter Bill Anderson. She decided to make Ernest Tubbs' Midnight Jamboree her permanent home after her performance there garnered such great feedback. The song Once a Day was recorded at her first session with RCA after she signed on the label. It became the first debut song by a female country artist to ever reach #1 and remained there for an incredible 8 weeks. It is still among her most requested songs, right up there with her biggest gospel hit, How Great Thou Art. After that, Smith continued to rise to the top of her game, earning 31 albums, 3 of which were #1 hits and 11 Grammy Award nominations. 20 of her country singles reached the top 10. According to Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest Country Artists list, she comes in at number 100. Marty Stewart initially crossed paths with Connie Smith in the early 1970s when he was a rising star in Nashville's music scene. Already famous from classics like Once a Day, Smith saw potential in Stewart. Based on their shared love of and commitment to the history of vintage country music, their professional admiration soon blossomed into a personal friendship. As their long history of working together in the entertainment industry attests, Marty and Connie adore one another, and their shared enthusiasm brings them together on stage. In a few twisted songs like I Run to You and Farmer's Blues, they showed how nicely their backgrounds and singing styles combined. Their once close friendship blossomed into a passionate romance as their affections for one another became stronger over time. Marty frequently paid tribute to Connie in his songs by mentioning her and the things they had been through together. He was famous for his moving performances and beautiful lyrics. Stewart revealed that his mother's favorite singer was Connie Smith in an interview. At our residence, there was a recording of her named Miss Smith Goes to Nashville, a stunning portrait of her on the cover. To me, she was the most stunning young woman on the planet. To make sure that Connie would see me at the Mississippi concert that night, I had my mom take me shopping for a bright yellow blouse. My sister and I had our photo taken with her after the show, and I was able to get her autograph. I proposed to my mom on the way home. The solution was effective, but it took 25 years to discover. Marty Stewart and Connie Smith were married in 1997, but they have never been bashful about showing their passion for one another. Everyone in the country music community was ecstatic for the pair because they could tell it was genuine love and because they were both so committed to their music. Marty and Connie were able to strike a good work-life balance despite their demanding and executive-style job schedules. Leanne and Eddie were able to hone their connection and support each other's performances thanks to their shared passion for vintage country music and other customs, artifacts, and similar interests. Connie Smith embodies a new wave of country music purity, while Marty Stewart is a major player in the modern traditional country scene. Such facets of the company's missions include supporting this genre, doing charitable work, and preserving such legacies. Marty Stewart and Connie Smith's union exemplifies the power of love and commerce in country music. Both of their careers have been enriched by their shift from co-workers to life partners, and the genre they both love has been forever changed. Even though Marty and Connie's relationship has been acclaimed for its harmony and love of country music, it has nevertheless had to deal with the regular scrutiny that famous people receive. Along the way, they've encountered challenges that test their dedication, tolerance, and ability to maintain a healthy work-life balance. Marty Stewart and Connie Smith are country music artists who are accustomed to scrutiny and criticism from the general public. Being famous and working in such high-profile fields means they're both constantly in the public eye. The age gap between them only adds to the intrigue surrounding their relationship, and the reality that they are well-known figures. As they attempt to manage fan engagement effectively while juggling their work and personal life, even the strongest pair ties might feel the strain of this constant demand. Both Marty and Connie have maintained busy careers as musicians and performers. Marty plays in bands and is an advocate for country music. Relationship problems are common among musicians who perform, record, and market their music since they spend so much time away from home. Maintaining a healthy work-life balance while still making time for each other has been an ongoing challenge that has called for patience and understanding. Their partnership has also been shaped by navigating familial dynamics and external influences such as friendships, relationships in the profession, and personal responsibilities. They need to be patient, empathetic, and dedicated to their relationship in order to manage expectations, resolve problems, and find common ground when faced with outside forces. Because of the deep love they share, Marty puts his job on hold to be there for his wife after she receives the devastating news of her illness. Marty leaves the stage to be with Connie as they go through this emotional journey together. Watch to see how Marty's unwavering commitment and devotion lead them through a life-threatening struggle. Connie Smith's terrible health diagnosis is going to be revealed, so get ready for an even more shocking revelation. Marty Stewart and Connie Smith work together professionally. Can their love and strength carry them over this devastating obstacle? We will discover. Famous country music artist Connie Smith gets terrible news she has a serious illness. We need to take a moment to admire this woman's achievement before we get on to her fight. Connie has been nominated for multiple Grammy Awards and has amassed over 50 albums during her remarkable career. The Country Music Hall of Fame has inducted her twice. She is still adored by music lovers, and her songs have brought solace and happiness to countless. Connie has not been blessed with good fortune, alas. She and her family like to keep their personal lives private, therefore very little is known about her state. It has been reported, nevertheless, that she is dealing with serious problems which may be the result of a stroke. Connie, though, is incredibly active despite her illness. She has treasured moments with loved ones and has always been resolute in her pursuit of success. She feels at ease with her husband and children despite having been through a difficult time. Artist Marty Stewart, who performs country music. A large number of Connie's admirers have started sharing stories about the times when her music meant the most to them. At the same time that they remind others of her influence, these remarks may offer her encouragement in those situations. The incredible strength and love that Marty Stewart has shown his wife Connie Smith during her recent medical diagnosis deserves our full attention. This is a tale of love, perseverance, and the unbreakable connection that music can create. After a fruitful career in country music spanning 2 decades during which he produced Grammy winners as well as hit singles and cover versions, Marty Stewart might be recognized as no less than an icon in his own right. In addition to Marty Robbins's professional achievements, his personal life is intricately linked to his wife, Connie Smith, a country singer who has been performing lovely and uplifting music since the 1960s. Lots of admirers and members of the families, everyone was taken aback by the new medical diagnosis of Connie Smith. It is still not able to notice her specific health difficulties. Still, she's had a lot of challenges ahead of her. Last but not least, Marty Stewart is devoted to Connie. He shows her his affection by being there for her at some of the film's most risky moments. During interviews, Marty has discussed the emotional toll that receiving Connie's diagnosis has had on him. He recounted his first feelings of crippling helplessness as he contemplated the future of the woman he loved. Instead of succumbing to despair, Marty has set his sights on becoming the rock for Connie. They have traditionally used music as a means of communication. Despite everything, it has brought me solace. Sitting by her side, Marty brings joy and normalcy to their home by playing guitar tunes that Connie loves. Even though it's modest, this act of affection shows how much he cares about her. In addition, Marty is now fighting for Connie's life and making sure she gets the best therapy available. Carefully and persistently, he has taken on the role of caretaker, keeping tabs on her doctor's appointments, reading up on her illness, and providing words of encouragement. To show their support for Connie and Marty, some followers have taken to social media. Photos, videos, and heartfelt remarks on the impact of this music on people's life may be found among the most popular subjects on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can't just take these messages at face value. Everyone thinks they're a huge morale boost for the marriage. The crowds at recent concerts have shown how much they love their favorite artists. Quite a few people gave her the silent treatment, with signs reading "We love you, Connie," among other things. Meanwhile, the song's popularity has never wavered, and the faithful have never stopped singing and dancing to them. For artists, these are the kinds of moments that make the audience feel like a second family. In addition to these industry pals, others have stepped in to help me out now. Marty and Connie have received calls and visits from other musicians and associated professionals. Some have even organized performances to raise awareness about Connie's health concerns and assist cover her medical expenses. The availability of this support system has greatly strengthened the couple's resolve to face the challenges that lie ahead. The lyrical message is that love may heal broken hearts, even when faced with pain. Connie Smith and Marty Stewart's strong friendships and fan bases are shown by the overwhelming amount of love and support they have received. A tale of strength, camaraderie, and the indomitable will to survive. Which of Connie Smith and Marty Stewart's songs or memories has had the most impact on you?